So, you're looking for a dog trainer here in Missoula, and yeah, it can feel like a lot to sort through. In this guide, we're going to break down everything you need to know, from training styles to local leash laws, so you can make a really confident, informed choice for you and your dog.
You know that picture-perfect Missoula moment you have in your head? Maybe it's a hike up Mount Sentinel or just a relaxing afternoon down by the Clark Fork River. Well, the thing that separates that dream from a kind of stressful reality is having a confident, well-behaved dog, and that all starts with finding the right training.
So, here's what we're going to cover. We'll kick things off with why training is so crucial here in particular. Then we'll get into different training philosophies and programs. After that, we'll give you a checklist of questions to ask any potential trainer, and we'll wrap up with the local rules and resources you'll definitely want to know about.
Okay, first things first, why does good training matter so much here? Well, in a city that loves its dogs and its outdoors as much as Missoula does, solid training is really the key that unlocks everything the community has to offer for you and your pup. I mean, just think about it, right? A well-trained dog can hike with you on the trails at Blue Mountain without yanking your arm off. They can chill out on a patio downtown while you grab a coffee. They can handle all the sights and smells of the farmer's market. And, this is a big one, they can coexist safely with all the wildlife we share this amazing place with. So, where do you even start? Well, before you even look at specific trainers, it really helps to understand the foundation of modern, effective dog training. This all boils down to two main things: the methods they use and the professional background. Okay, so the gold standard in modern dog training is something called positive reinforcement. And this is so much more than just handing out treats. It's a science-based method that's all about teaching your dog what you want them to do, and then rewarding them for making that choice. This builds up their confidence and makes your bond stronger, which works way better than just punishing them for mistakes. Now, here's something you really need to know. The state of Montana doesn't require trainers to be licensed. That means these certifications are pretty much your best bet for verifying that a pro knows what they're doing. Look for acronyms like CPDTK. That's a great sign they have a solid education. And for more complex stuff like fear or aggression, you'd want to see those advanced credentials like CBCCK. On the other side of that coin, here is a massive red flag. Experts are crystal clear on this. You need to avoid any trainer who uses fear, pain, or intimidation. Sure, those methods might seem like they get a quick result, but they often end up creating way bigger problems, like serious anxiety and even aggression down the line. All right, so you know what philosophy to look for. Now it's time to find a program that actually fits your specific needs, your dog's unique personality, and, of course, your budget. Your two most common options are going to be group classes and private lessons. Group classes are awesome for socialization and for learning to listen around other dogs and people. Plus, they're easier on the wallet. Private lessons, on the other hand, give you a completely customized plan just for your dog, often right in your own house where the problem behaviors are actually happening. And it doesn't stop there. You'll also see some other specialized formats. Puppy classes are, of course, essential for getting a young dog started on the right paw. Board and train programs are like an intensive boot camp, while behavior modification is really for tackling serious issues like leash reactivity or separation anxiety with a dedicated pro. So, what should you expect to budget for all this? Well, this table gives you a pretty good idea of the average costs right here in Missoula. As you can see, a standard 6-week group class usually runs somewhere between $150 and $250. Private lessons cost a bit more, and then when you get into the really intensive services like a board and train, the price tag obviously goes up quite a bit. Okay, let's say you've done your research, you've found a few potential trainers that seem like a good fit. Now it's time to interview them. Think of this next part as your personal checklist to make sure you cover all the important stuff. So when you get them on the phone or meet them for a consultation, what are the key questions you need to ask to make sure you're making the right call? Let's break it down step by step. First, confirm their philosophy. Double-check that it's positive reinforcement, and ask about those certifications we talked about. Second, be specific about your dog's challenges and ask if they have experience with those exact issues. Third, find out how you'll both track progress and what kind of homework you'll be responsible for. And finally, get all the costs and policies in writing, and if you're dealing with a behavior issue, make sure they're willing to work with your vet. All right, let's bring all this training theory back down to earth and talk about what it looks like in daily life here in Missoula. Knowing the local rules and the best places to practice is how you make sure the skills you learn in class actually work in the real world. I want you to remember this number, 8 feet. That's the maximum leash length allowed in all public areas of the city, unless you're in a designated off-leash park. So that means no retractable leashes on the city trails or walking down Higgins. And there are a couple of other key rules to have on your radar. Your dog has to be licensed with Missoula County, and to do that, you'll need proof of a rabies vaccine. And that rabies tag, it needs to be on their collar at all times. Also, just be aware that nonstop barking can actually be considered a noise nuisance, which is something good training can definitely help with. So, where can you actually go to put all this new training into practice? Well, Jacobs Island is fantastic for safely working on that super important recall command. The Clark Fork River Trail is basically a real-world classroom for practicing loose leash walking with all kinds of distractions. And Blue Mountain is a great spot for teaching your dog to stay focused on you, even with all the smells of wildlife around. At the end of the day, investing in good training is about so much more than just stopping a bad habit. It's really about unlocking a safer, richer, and just more enjoyable life with your dog in a city that is so dog-friendly. Good luck with your training journey and enjoy that amazing peace of mind that comes from having a confident, well-behaved buddy by your side, whether you're on the trails, downtown, or just hanging out at home.